welcome back to my channel. So for today I'm gonna do a walkthrough of June in my Hobonichi cousin Avec. So this is obviously the last month in this little book, and I've since moved on to July. So let's flip to June. So as I did with the other months, I decided to do this page has like all the leftover little bits and pieces from various pages. So this was May, and let's see, April. So I really love how this one turned out because I really did use a ton of different leftovers from various pages. Like these dots, I didn't use those, so I just put them down. I also didn't use this clear sticker for Take a Hike, so I put that down. And then I had a few random pieces of washi tape, so I stuck those down. I opened up June by saying hello June, just like I have in the other months, and also a list looking forward to, and I used a printable kit from QuirkyHeart Designs, and she did one for Gemini, and I love it. It has bright yellow and blue and green in it. So I not only did I do the looking forward to, but I also did my creative goals, what I'd like to get done, and then stories from today. The following pages were Week in the Life. Week in the Life is a scrapbooking project where you do an in-depth dive into documenting your life for the entire week. Now last year in my Hobonichi cousin, I pre-decorated the pages and it turned out okay, but this year I decided not to pre-decorate. But what I did decide is that I would do 5 stories over here, and then all the different stats or statistics or numbers that I was keeping track of would be here. That way, not only were they here, but I didn't get to them in the other project, or the Week in the Life project, that would be okay because I had them here. So the different stats were steps, reading, my mood range, which was so much fun to. So every night I would Google different emotions and then try to find ones that had descriptions for them. And, who knows if they're accurate or not, but it was still a lot of fun to do. Self-care, struggling, and favorites. Now, I didn't do those stats here. I felt like I should have maybe done an insert or something, but this was my birthday, and I had been saving this quote for a very long time. So I put the quote down, and I also put a picture of myself, and then included some butterflies and the 5 stories. Moving to the next page, I did a big sticker collecting my thoughts, the 5 different stories. This day, I think, I have 6. And then I did a bunch of the stats here. Found a clear sticker again on my mind, and a bunch of, stickers. I relied a lot on clear stickers. Just if it's in my stash, put it down, let's move on. Like sometimes I feel like I overthink when I'm putting these pages together, but I definitely didn't for Week in the Life, and I had a lot of fun making these pages and giving myself the permission to do the same thing every single day. So here, steps, mood range, I have lovely, or lovey, hot, capable, and I've got this, I think. So put struggling, self-care, and favorites from the day. Friday, I had this quote in my stash for forever. It's a really great quote about being grateful. The only thing I was worried about is the color scheme. Like, how am I gonna make this color scheme work? Because I wasn't sure if I had the markers to match, but I did. I feel like I made it work. I even stamped a few flowers, and I just did my stories and then all the different things down here. Over on Saturday, I had a Happy Mail package from the Coffee Monster Co. So I did a little less of stats right here because I wanted to include the washi tape, but I also did the stats over here. So I kind of changed it up on Saturday, but I still tried to get in all the different stories. So love how that one turned out, because I've got washi here, washi there, and I've got stickers in little different places. finishing up the week with, you know, the same thing with the stories here and all the different stats. And then my dear friend threw me a birthday party, so I included a photo and then flip it out, little stamping and talking about the birthday party. I also included just the number of photos I took that were edited, and it was 484. Yes, it's a ridiculous amount of photos for documenting a week, but that's what I wound up with. And now, in case you're interested, you know, my next step is to bring those photos way down and figure out which ones I want to actually use in my album. Oh, and this little piece down here, that was part of, I think, a 4x6 horizontal card, and I just trimmed it and then added it down here. The next day was the second to last day of school, so I talked about field day, and I actually had the perfect pair of shoes to wear. I had some fancy new white shoes that my husband and son picked up for me because they're always out thrifting, and they found these and they were amazing. I also talked about how by the time I had gotten to my lunch, I had nearly 7,500 steps, and by the end of the day, I had 12,503 steps. So it was very much a busy day of lots of walking. And then this one, this little deflated floaty is from Hands Off My Dinosaur. The next day was the last day of school, but it was also the 10th, and every time on the 10th, I do 10 stories. And so I was really excited to put this page together, especially since I had a digital kit that had this as part of a journaling card. So I just kind of used it as my border, but also kind of as the grass for the flowers. And then I had a tiny one up there, and I had this sticker. And so I just love how that page came together with the color schemes, because some of these pieces I had been saving for a really long time, and I was finally able to bring them all together. And I am continuing this in the second journal. So this is a look at July, and I love how this one came together as well. So I used Ali Edward products, digital, and made them into clear stickers, and then shrunk this one down, and then used some suns. Continuing this project and really enjoying it. Such a simple way to just see how each month is a little bit different. The next day was considered, you know, the first day of summer. We did a family project with a new mailbox. So I doodled one there using my new Tombows. I used just a journaling card, shrunk it down, and printed it as a clear sticker paper. Moving into the 12th, I talked about my daughter's new hobby of air dry dragons. She made me one called Sunflower. I love it. Okay, I had to grab it so I could show you. Isn't this amazing? She's made like 20 of these now. I love it. And she wrapped it around one of my gemstones, and it's just amazing. Then, since I had such a bright color scheme, I added in a few different pieces, and I like how the bright colors came together. Again, I wasn't so sure, but you know, I had fun, and that's what matters. The next day was Friday the 13th, and I love this artist, Lydia Jean Art, and she had this free wallpaper. So I took a screenshot of this and used it as kind of my jumping off point for Friday the 13th. And I was talking about Summerween and how people like to do Halloween things during the summer. I even made a list of things to celebrate or how to celebrate Summerween. I haven't done any of them, being honest. I'm still hoping to do the one where I get out my skeleton, Stella, and do a photo shoot with her. I took a ton of Happy Planner stickers and some really old star stickers, and I just went to town with all the stickers and all the bright colors. Next up was the 14th. We got to go to my husband's work. I found a really cool information thing about the flag, so I decided, why not? I'll just include some stats about the flag. And then I had a busy morning of getting some stuff done, so I included that. The next day was Father's Day, and my son helped me make this collage for my husband. I really love this Hands Off My Dinosaur, so I decided to go ahead and use it. I love this little emoji sticker. They're like hugging each other. And I found a home for it, so that's always exciting when you find a home for something. Next day was Monday, and I told the kids, let's get out of the house. We did, and it was awesome. So it always helps when we just get out of the house for just a little bit. Also did a behind the scenes video for you guys here on YouTube about cleaning up my space. Then the next day I got ready for my big trip with my best friend. We had not gone on a trip together since 2020, and so I was very excited to go on this trip. I used this duck from that calendar, Hands Off My Dinosaur. I think this was actually January 1st, but I saved it and I loved it, so I decided I'm gonna use it here. I also got to use a cute little pack sticker. And so I just made a list of things that I needed to get done, talked about being on the road, and not only on the road getting to my friend's house, but also once we got on the road, and then our little, we had both had beverages, so I did a cheers, and then some basic facts about the trips, like what we were doing and where we were going. The following 2 days were our trip. And I had no idea how I was going to document this trip because I did most of the documenting with notes in my notes app on my phone. So I didn't want to like redo that. Plus, get this guys, I printed out all of these clear stickers and these ones, and then I packed this. Like I packed a whole setup for my journaling, but I forgot my pins. Yes, I forgot my pins. I brought the stickers, but I forgot the pins. Like the main pouch that I needed, I completely forgot it. So I really couldn't journal even if I wanted to on the trip. It was totally frustrating. I had to kind of wait to journal anyways. And so when I got home, I put everything together and I was like, how am I going to do this? And I decided I am just going to do some photos. They are, I have no idea what size they are because they started out 3x2 and then I just shrunk them down. So I did 3 here and then 6 here and just did bullet point list of the different things that we did on the trip. I don't like how the bullet points turned out. They're really big and sloppy, but you know, can't go back and fix it. I also put a clear sticker here and a bunch of clear stickers there. And I finally used this little picture, which I think it's hilarious. Now, if you notice, I have a yellow circle here and a yellow circle here. So when I got home, I was so excited to journal, finally get to my journal, that I pretty much dove right in, didn't pay attention to the date, and I wound up documenting Friday on Thursday's page. I couldn't let it go because if I had, then I would have one nature page, the coming home page, and then the nature page. And it just really bothered me because I knew I could get a double page spread for our nature adventures. So what I did is I tore it out and flipped it upside down, and it worked. It worked. I had to glue it in here like 3 different times. I couldn't find my double-sided tape, so I hope it stays, but it worked for the most part. It's staying, and like I said, I had to glue it multiple times when it came up, but I'm really happy that I flipped it and did that because like I said, I wanted a double page spread for all the different outside photos. And then of course, you know, packing up, I went with some neutrals. I found a label so that way I could include the date, and then some stickers from the cat collage, Bestie and Little Cats, and On the Road. Coming back on Saturday, I used a big list for words for the day, some Trader Joe's stickers, along with strawberries from the Cat Collage Club. So really love that. Pinks and greens and reds. Flipping to the 22nd, we went to see How to Train Your Dragon. I found an image, so I used that as my jumping off point for colors, so green and blue. And then I printed some dragons I had in my digital stash, and then I had a little kind of note about summer, and then another like note I didn't want anyone to really see. This right here I'm peeling off, that was a conversation with my son, And then I just talked about trying to go to a park and it was closed for a summer camp, and then we tried again, talking to my dear friend Erica, and then what I was making. The next day, my family and I went down to the river. I found some LA Florals stickers with about an otter, and like basically it's like a crab shack, but it's the otter's crab shack. But I made it work, and I put a little piece of green washi tape, and it's just really cute. And I even included the book that I read while we were down at the river. Then we had a little day trip, and I remembered my supplies this time. So I actually journaled while we were in the hotel. I used another Hands Off My Dinosaur, and when I came to like something important that I wanted to say, I just used my Tombow pen. Found a random clear sticker, so I included that. And then 2 torn pieces from the same calendar page. And then we headed home, and I just talked about the 3 different things that, you know, we did on the way home, which was a nursery, stopped at a candy store, and then had lunch. And so I did a flip up. Let's see. I just wanted to include a ton of photos, and all of these stickers are from the QuirkyHeart Designs Summer Blooms. So love that. The next day was Friday. I had 3 big goals before I left the house, and I got all of those done. And then I took my friend's daughter driving, included a list for the day. The 28th, I don't know how this collage wound, or not collage, but how this page wound up so bright, but it did. I think it started because it was a very hot soccer tournament and I wanted to use this die cut. Then I made this cat with it on a couch. Isn't that adorable? I absolutely love that. So that just went from there. So it really matched the whole theme of how bright and colorful it was. But I loved making this little cat blob. The 29th, I definitely went with a softer color scheme using the Coffee Monster Co. washi tape and stickers, and just did little stories about the day. The next day, again, very bright, but I had this huge piece and I think this huge piece. And I had pre-printed some of these, and then I decided, well, if I'm going to go with circles, I'm going to go all out with circles. So that's what I decided to do. And I used kind of this peachy coral and then a red, talked about going to the doctor, having to schedule a mammogram, and then saying, welcome to my 40s. Then I went to Target and got my kids crumble cookies, and then just a little stories to kind of wrap up the day. This was my post-it note for the day because I hadn't journaled on the day of, and I think I even forgot some things to include here, but for the most part, I just save these and I put them in the back. And then also I wanted to mention, I totally use this back page to like test my markers, because it's the same paper, right? So I just use that paper. And then I also have my Coffee Monster Co. orders there, and then my Washi Wizard. So I'm going to be able to add to those more as the year goes on. But that is a look at June. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing my pages come together. I absolutely love sharing them with you, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.